Okay, good morning, YouTube. We're here, it's Sunday morning, and we are getting ready to head on out. Spencer and I are going to head out here. It's a pretty gloomy day. It's a pretty gloomy day today, but that's okay. This is better than extreme heat. So we're going to be letting everybody out. Come on. Wow, all the horses are down. You can see them up there on the hill. And they're all muddy. Good times. Good times. All right. So, let's get our boots on here. So I'm trying to think of like different topics to cover. I'm kind of curious too about what you guys would like to hear about our work here and what we do. I kind of thought today maybe we would talk about, rescue and, what that actually entails, like to actually run a good rescue. And obviously a big chunk of that is having to deal with the fact that, you lose a lot of horses. So first thing I'm going to do is head on over here, and we're going to feed Gemma and Keith. Good morning, everybody. Wow, look at that lavender. It's amazing. Look at those donkeys. Look at the donkeys. Here's Gemma and Keith. Keith still takes lots of naps. Hi, Mama. Hi. Hi. Is it breakfast time? There you go, sweetie. Rescue, it's I think it's probably one of the aspects of this place that literally makes me kind of question my life choices. Is it really thin? For a number of reasons. Horses are amazing animals. They're huge, they're strong, they're powerful, they're all of these things, but they are also just bizarrely fragile. And they can hurt themselves, and just all kinds of things can happen to them. Their digestive tracts are extremely fragile. That's why a lot of them colic, which can be a life-threatening thing. So anyways, it's just, it's a lot. And, it would be one thing, I think, if we were, just a rescue, and that was kind of like our main focus. I don't know that there would be as much, to juggle. But there's a lot to juggle here when you have, people who come here for treatment every week. And then, of course, you have the people who work here, and they develop these really quite amazing special bonds with our horses. I know for me, my relationship with these animals has changed dramatically since kind of gaining an awareness of like what they can do. I used to I know for me, my relationship with these animals has changed dramatically since kind of gaining an awareness of like what they can do. I used to ride horses, I used to ride competitively when I was a youth. And I really, I liked it. And I really got a lot out of it. Oh my Lord in heaven. Wow. Hi. Hey. Finley. Knock it. Yes. There is some alfalfa. In a lot of ways it's saved my life. Saved me. Hello, I know. But there's water in here. Can't put your food in there if there's water in here. So, yeah, I used to ride, and I rode competitively. It's really kind of an interesting thing that happens where, I don't know, people are almost like offended when I tell them I don't ride. I don't know, it's kind of like, because I'm a vegetarian too, it's almost like, I don't know, people are so offended by that. And I'm like, I'm not offended by the fact that you eat meat. And I never ask people to explain their rationale or their logic behind eating meat. And I never ask people to explain their logic or rationale behind why they ride a horse. But people get really weird about it because they ask me, when they find out that I work with horses, they inevitably ask me if I ride. And my answer to that is always no. I do not ride horses. And again, part of the reason for that is I think once you've, worked with them on the ground in the way that we do, it's hard to imagine them in another way. And, they are such amazing, hello, sweetie, sensitive animals. And when you can build that relationship with them on the ground, there's just nothing like it. And for me, climbing on their back feels like an act of dominance. And it's just not something I want to do. Horses. Stop it. You have plenty of food over here. You don't need to be mad. It's not necessary. So yeah, I don't ride. And I find horses who are not ridden, tend to have a much more organic response to clients and to me. So it's much more genuine. And, from a clinical perspective, like that's kind of like the primary thing of what we need is a genuine response. All right, donkey fed, giraffes fed. Let's go work on the minis. So, kind of some of my thoughts on rescue is like, I can rescue a horse, but then the next question is can I rehabilitate a horse? And what I mean by that is not necessarily getting them compliant to my desire or my will, but it means getting them to a place where they actually trust people again. And so that for me is kind of like the most important part of rescue is the rehabilitation and getting their trust back. And so that's a huge chunk of what we do here, because many of the animals who come here do not have a good history. And I hate to say this, and I'm sure I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for it, but the horse industry is brutal. Yeah, so, you know, a lot of times people get a horse with like a goal in mind or like a purpose in mind about like things that they want to do. And, you know, horses are expensive. And so once people can no longer do the thing that they wanted to do with their horse, it's super easy to, you know, just kind of move along from that animal. And so that happens a lot. I don't think people do it with like malicious intent at all. You know, a lot of people will take their horse to auction hoping that it will sell there. Maybe not necessarily understanding that at some point your animal may be sold off for slaughter. And so that can be, you know, kind of one of the realities of you know, what happens. And so people just don't necessarily understand that. How are you doing, Spence?
Oh, we're good.
Look, I got my GoPro.
Yeah. That's cool, huh?
I don't know. Spencer's unimpressed. Yeah, so it's kind of sad because so many horses, I've done a little bit of research and posted some statistics a while back in one of our videos. There's roughly about 17,000 horses annually who go to slaughter and are sold for meat. Phoebe, watch out! Phoebe, watch out! And that's a lot of animals. That's a lot of animals. And I think, you know, what is probably the most egregious about that is that the arduous travel that a lot of these animals have to endure in between. So, you know, people think that horses just go from auction to slaughter. Well, that's not true. Oftentimes they can go auction house to auction house and then go to slaughter. And, you know, a lot of times they are traveling, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of miles. And they're doing this with no food or water. Phoebe, stop antagonizing Finn. Yeah, it's a horrific, you know, pregnant mares are sold off. They give birth on the trucks, you know, are en route to slaughter. Horses get injured a lot at auction houses. Just, you know, because there's so many horses in such a small, confined space. I think there's like a sense of like scarcity and desperateness there. And so a lot of, you know, a lot of horses just end up, you know, so injured that they do end up going to the meat, you know, being sold for slaughter because they actually get injured at the auction house or at the auctions or through that process. So anyways, it's really sad that that's kind of where we are. One of the things that I love about All Seated in a Barn is that they really have made a lot of effort to, you know, adopt their horses out. I think if you're going to do rescue and you're going to do it well, you have to adopt your horses out. And I've seen a lot of rescues that never adopt their horses out. And, you know, although we don't adopt our horses out, of course, we don't adopt our horses out because we keep them all the way through life. We do have basically a number of horses that we keep so that we can make sure that we're able to take care of them. So we live Roger and Buck. I'll start pulling them in.
Thank you.
Sure. It's much quieter that way. Yes. It's much quieter that way. Hello. Hello. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here. Which one's Doc's?
It's that,
So is it a
in the middle. The middle one.
a square feeder or a black one?
The square feeder, very middle.
Okay, got it. Watch out. Yeah, we're probably gonna get some abscesses coming out here. Okay, Remy, book it. And you, book it. Okay. Hey, horse, stop. Don't do that. You're being very rude. You guys are being very rude. Nobody needs to be rude. Oh my Lord, Doc, look at you. Covered in mud. I need to redo this whole thing. Hi. Hello. Hello. Oh my goodness. Can Dunn go in there, Spencer, where you are?
Yeah, you can come in here.
Okay.
Patrick's done. Grab the edge.
It's just so funny, they all know their routines. Remy, are you mad? Don't be mad. You get your food. You get your breakfast. Oh my goodness. Can you back up a little bit? Thank you. Yeah, so anyways, you know, dealing with older horses is, it's expensive, and you know, a lot of them develop, you know, pretty pricey diseases like Cushing's disease and, you know, stuff like that. So it can be, you know, a lot for somebody to just have a horse basically like as a pet. Most of the time they don't live with us, they live at like boarding facilities, and it's expensive, you know, it's expensive to keep them. And so again, I think people, you know, think like, oh, I'll find them a good home, and that the place to do that is the auction house, and unfortunately it is not. Not the place to find your horse. I mean, not that that doesn't happen, it does. You know, sometimes there will be good outcome situations or scenarios, but that's not a place. You're not guaranteed to find a good home. It's not like the SPCA or something like that. So, with that said, and you know, the problem with like a lot of organizations like the SPCA is that they charge owners to surrender their horse. And so maybe, I don't know, somebody fell on financial hard times, and they just don't have like the financial resources or whatever to you know, to do something like that. So there's a lot of reasons why we are in the situation that we are. The other thing is that horses are classified as agriculture, and so because of the fact that they're classified as agriculture, it kind of reduces their, I guess, their rights, you could call it.
Zooey?
Yeah, thank you. And I'll get water. Yeah, that's her grazing muzzle.
Like
It goes on just like a halter.
that?
Yeah, but you want to just make sure it's not twisted. Thank you. So again, like there's a lot of reasons, you know, why horses get surrendered to us. And I think it's important to understand that, like, I think most people have like good intentions when it comes to, you know, where their horse goes. So whether that's surrendering it to a rescue, the question of whether or not it's like a reputable one is an important one to think about. And then oh my God, those two. And then the question of, you know, the care that the animal gets. There's, you know, because there's a big difference. Like horses, you know, horses have a lot of social and emotional needs, as well as, physical needs. And so, sometimes what you'll find that places are able to meet their physical needs, but they're not necessarily able to meet their social and emotional needs, or meet their need to like have a job. Horses really need to have a job. It's really important for them to have like some kind of purpose, and especially if they're going to be expected to interact with humans. So if they're going to be expected to go to the vet, if they're going to be expected to get their feet done, yeah, I'm coming. Any of those things at all, yeah, the horses need to have like ongoing human contact and a job, so some kind of purpose. So again, sometimes people have different reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. And I think that's one of the things I love about Vanessa, is that she doesn't shame people. I mean, I think we can be sad about some of these situations, and it's easy to what I call couch judge, which is where you're sitting on a couch, maybe in the comfort of your own living room, judging. Things are always not that simple. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. I mean, there have been times where we've had financial difficulties, and, we've had to do things like, with Lola, in the case of Lola, we literally had to have a bake sale to raise money for her medication. We're a nonprofit, so we can do that kind of stuff, but things are not that easy. I got it. I'm gonna feed the donkeys up here in the shelter. They don't want to go anywhere. Buck, get out. Go, guys. Little wet, mean horses. Go ahead. It's like musical feeders in here. All right, you ready? I would define this as more of a sanctuary than I would a rescue. And I say that because we don't have any plans or intention of adopting our horses out. And I think a good rescue should have a robust adoption plan. And again, one of the things that I really appreciate about All Seated in a Barn, go grab Geraldine before you do anything else, is that they really have put a lot of effort into making sure that they have good homes for their animals. And they reached out to us actually to see if we were interested in adopting. And kind of the solution, because there's a problem when it comes to the horse industry, and kind of like last steps, like where they go. There needs to be a pretty robust solution, and I think the solution to that is multifaceted. First and foremost, seeing horses as something other than a utility obviously is really important. That's one thing, educating people on horses, horse care, what they can plan to spend, educating people on breeding, basically a lot of the things that we do for like dogs and cats, and really thinking about investing that much, right? So we invest tons of money in rescuing dogs and cats every year. And I think that it would be great if we could think about investing that kind of money, and really we could stop that pipeline from happening if we were able to do that. So again, programs like ours where we get our horses, rescue our horses, keep our horses from the day that we get them until we walk them all the way through their death. They have a job, they are rehabilitated, they have purpose, they have use. And I think if there are more programs like that out there, I think we really could put a pretty significant dent in that. It's kind of part of the reason also why I train clinicians on how to do equine assisted psychotherapy for free. I want to spread the efficacy of equine assisted psychotherapy, but also, like, in my mind, wouldn't it be great if you went and started practice somewhere else and rescued some horses in the meantime? Because people move and people have lives and things that happen. And so again, like, I just think ultimately, like, that is my goal, is to train as many people as I can in this so that we can get as much movement as possible in this in this slaughter pipeline. So I think rescue can be defined as saving a horse's life. Rehabilitation and sanctuary can be defined as saving a horse's life and rehabilitating that horse regardless of where they are. Sweet girl. Hi. What are you doing? I don't have any snacks for you. We give all of our donkeys Platinum Performance too, just because it's a really good overall health supplement for them. So the cool thing about, Gemma and Keith obviously is that, Keith is a baby, so we get the opportunity to have a horse or have an entity here who, just trusts us. Hi. Did you get a drop of water on your face? Little mouth? Yeah, you're gonna bite me? And so, this is it's kind of like a new beginning for a lot of us here. And it's just so cool to be able to have a horse or have a equid who, doesn't really understand or know a lot about how horrible the industry can be. And so this is kind of like our first opportunity to be able to have a little one and get to kind of like shape his experience of like what it means to be a donkey. Yes. What does it mean to be a donkey? And you can see he's quite comfortable with people, with us. Hi. Hi. What are you doing? Horses do a lot of processing through their mouths. It's kind of fun to give him an opportunity to be with people in a very different way than most of our animals have been. Yeah. Oh, he says, my goodness, that feels really good. Yes, that does. He says, oh, that feels good. Yes, I'm listening. Yeah. Can you pick up your foot? Let's see. Oh, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Yeah, it's just so cool. We get to train him to do all these things that horses need to do, like pick up his feet, and you can see already he's just like so confident. You know, we pick up his foot, and he's just like, he's fine with it. He doesn't show any like insecurity or fear around it. You know, we can touch him in all the parts of his body that